All right, welcome back to Politics and Profits. I'm Rick Amato. Small businesses, we cover that quite a bit on this show. What are some of the challenges that small businesses are facing during this COVID quarantine pandemic environment? We've covered this topic many times, but there are many different challenges small businesses are facing. And guess what? The challenges differ with time. I'm sure the challenges people are facing at home today, for example, are different than they were 4 or 5 months ago when this thing first started. Same with businesses. Join me this time, as she often does, is contributor to Politics and Profits. She is your favorite business coach and consultant. She is the founder, listen to this title, founder of the Highly Paid Experts Academy. Sounds like an academy a lot of people should be looking into. And she is one of Forbes' top 100 business coaches in the USA. Let me welcome, from here in San Diego, Asha Mankowska. Asha, good to see you again.
Thank you so much, Rick, for having me. As always, it's such a pleasure. And it's very exciting to be here and having a great conversation with you.
Well, we are excited as well. And so talk about small business, engagement and impacting, conducting business with virtual presentations. What are some of the key areas that small businesses that you are aware of are being concerned with at this time?
So, as we know, everyone would love to have the executive presence, right? But also make impact and have an engagement. With small business, it's so important because it's like coming to the room, engaging with your clients, understanding what they have, but in the same time attracting those clients to you and being able to deliver what do they need and want, right? So that's the influence and that's the engagement. Now, not everyone I've noticed from not only my clients, but other people I'm speaking with from small business really understands the need and the importance of the executive presence and the need of making an impact and in the same time engagement with their clients and so on, right? I think we notice that often right now.
Yeah. And, I've noticed that, it's different small businesses and corporate executives, two different things happening there in terms of their presence in the marketplace and presence on virtual communication.
Especially, right? What do you notice, Rick, when you interview your guests or watching some other interviews? What especially small business owners, what they have, what type of challenges and struggles they facing when they are actually being interviewed virtually?
What I find, and here's something, Asha, that applies to both executives and small businesses, just depends upon their level of experience on air. And what I find is a common challenge is when they don't have a lot of it, when there's not a lot of experience, the individual the adrenaline flow takes over, and the individual tends to keep talking. And I know what's going through their mind because I've been there in years past, is I got to keep talking to sound good. If I stop now, I may not sound good. And the adrenaline is flowing so much that 3 or 4 minutes feels like 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
I find that that's one of the challenges.
That's, I think, brilliant. And you point out a very important factor because your presentations are different too, right? When people actually being interviewed on TV, it's different because they have only 2 to 3 minutes to actually
that is right.
Pound and summarize their knowledge versus, let's say, when they have presentations for 30 minutes, an hour or so, or even 1 day training, obviously the time frame is completely different. So even the adjustment, as you can see, and the need and adrenaline, oh my God, I have to convey all my topics, everything so fast, right?
Asha, that's a great point you bring up as well. I talked about level of experience, but related to that is in today's world of Zoom and Skype and what have you, and public speaking, you're right.
Yeah.
Many times people have experience at making 15, 20-minute presentations. When it comes to, and in television, that's not what happens. It's much shorter. So they may not have that experience of making that transition until a time or two on the air. But so that's a good point that you bring up as in terms of reasoning.
Perfect. And you brought some great point in transition, because we are in transition right now. So how do we handle it, right? Especially for a small business. Well, first of all, I think the challenge that I see too, people think, oh, my product or service is a king, so it speaks for itself, right?
Yeah.
And what's actually happening that people don't care what you sell, your product, services. What do they care for? Solutions.
Solutions, right.
Right. How is it relating to me that you're offering and so on? You can have the best product, but why are we talking about the executive presence, influence, and engagement in the same time will relate to small business? I want you to imagine that your product or service can be a king, but the queen, actually, that's what makes difference, will be the relationship that you will create with your ideal client. And this relationship has to be before, right? So that's the marketing, branding, positioning, and so on. During, when you deliver your service or product, and after. So nurturing, right? So that's when you actually get them and keep them attracted to you, interested, and keeping them interested. What else do you have to offer, right?
Yes.
And keeping them around. Mm-hmm. Don't you think it's like this little shift will help people with transition?
I've said it before, and I'll say it again because it addresses what you're saying. Is I think I'm finding that people who I work with in the business community, clients, prospective clients, are a lot more patient, a lot more, I'll use the word understanding now than they were previously.
Right. So true, because the situation is different. So they had to be flexible, right? Not like before.
Right.
People sometimes they have habits, mindset that worked before. So why don't it's going to work?
It's changed. All right, Asha, we're out of time in this segment. Our next time bringing you on, we talked about small businesses today. I want to get your expert insight on executives. You asked me a question on executives. We'll get into your expert insight on executives on our next interview with you.
Fantastic.
All right, Asha, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Broadcasting from the Liberatory CPA studios, back with more after this.
Politics and Profits with Rick Amato is brought to you by Liberatory Accounting, the IRS problem solvers. To find out how Liberatory Accounting can help you, call 877-6-SOLVER. That's 877-6-SOLVER.